hot topic in the State House this year. It started right off with the governor's inaugural address, and almost every single committee in this building has taken testimony on clean water. Great to see it having this kind of high profile. We need it. This is the year for action. And in the State House, there have been a number of events. You know, business leaders have come out supporting it. It's been this kind of unlikely allies. Today, I really wanted to bring to the fore some voices of people who are in our communities really doing the hard work, day-to-day slogging to do the on-the-ground projects to clean up our waters. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to hear from, about some of that hard work. And one thing I'd love you to keep in mind is that all of this work takes resources, it takes funding. So we need a good bill, we need real resources put to it so that more and more projects to clean up, to promote clean water, all of that can happen in our communities. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Russ, who's the Executive Director of the White River Partnership.
Hi, as Lauren said, my name is Mary Russ. I'm the Executive Director of the White River Partnership, which is a nonprofit watershed group working to improve the long-term health of the White River in central Vermont. This is a beautiful watershed. It's the longest undammed tributary to the Connecticut River. And for the most part, our water quality is good. But we have some issues, including encroachment, which is development in our floodplains, erosion, which adds sediment to our waterways, and non-point source pollution, where water washes across the landscape, picking up bacteria and nutrients on its way. All of these issues were exaggerated, or exacerbated, I should say, during flooding from Tropical Storm Irene in 2011. The White River was devastated. 12 of our 21 towns experienced tens of millions of dollars worth of damages to roads and bridges and businesses and homes. But out of that disaster came some really innovative on-the-ground projects, one of which I'd like to mention today, a successful project with the town of Rochester, who experienced quite a bit of damage from Irene. All of their high elevation streams flooded, and the 3 streams that we worked in lost every single bridge and culvert. The culvert is the pipe that streams cross through going under roads. Within those stream systems, washing away roads, flooding houses that weren't in mapped floodplains, and in one case washing away part of a cemetery. We worked with the town and the state and FEMA to improve some public assistance projects that would have replaced those undersized damaged structures with the same sized structures. So we went to our natural resources partners, and they added money to the project. Folks from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, U.S. Forest Service, Trout Unlimited, some private foundations. And we actually increased the size of those structures that went back in to be fish friendly. So what we learned is that by increasing the size of structures to allow for fish passage, you also get passage of debris and ice in floodwaters for the future. So 3 lessons learned from this project that I think are useful for today's conversation. Number 1, what's good for fish is good for people. When you increase the size of stream crossing structures, you not only improve the natural environment, but you improve flood resilience in the built environment. Since Irene, the state has adopted a new culvert standard, and that culvert standard is really improving flood resilience around the state. Second, we were able to leverage a really small amount of state funds to bring a lot more resources to the table. So that state investment allowed us to bring more money and more resources to the table, which improved the impacts overall. And I'd like to just mention that there are a lot of other groups around the state, watershed groups, other community-based organizations who are doing these types of projects. And those groups are really ideally situated to identify issues, water quality issues, and to implement good projects, successful projects that address the root causes of those issues statewide. Thank you.